I'm very grateful tonight, too, for the beautiful readings, testimonies, the beautiful organ music, and hymns. Hymn number 90 has always had a special meaning to me since I heard that when the opening of the original church, Christian Science Church in Boston, actually before it was opened, and Mrs. Eddy first visited it, it meant so much to her, and was told that she walked down the aisle and up to where the readers would normally be, and she stood in front of where the first reader would stand, and she recited the 91st Psalm. And then she moved over to where the second reader would stand, and she recited that hymn number 90. Guide me, O thou great Jehovah, pilgrim through this barren land. I am thine, and thou art mighty. Hold me with thy powerful hand. Bread of heaven, feed me now and evermore. It goes on, but that hymn must have had tremendous meaning to her, for her to have recited it like that. It was a very holy time and moment, and one that I will always appreciate. In the lesson last week, there was an important point, a point that has always meant a lot to me that I hadn't really brought out, that I would like to. It was the story of Elisha and how he was surrounded by enemies, and his servant became so fearful and asked him, Alas, Master, what shall I do? And Elisha answered, Fear not, for they that be with us are more than they that be with them. Now Elisha knew that they were surrounded by God's chariots of fire, that they had tremendous protection, but his servant couldn't see it. And so, what did Elisha do? What did he say? It says in the Bible, Elisha prayed and said, Lord, I pray thee, open his eyes that he may see. And the Lord opened the eyes of the young man, and he saw. And behold, the mountain was full of horses and chariots of fire round about Elisha. So I know in my own experience, when I might have a beloved friend or family member, perhaps not seeing or being receptive to something that I think that they should be or be receptive to, my first impulse is to talk to them, to tell them. And so in this case, Elisha could have said to his servant, well, you know, there are all these chariots of fire around here. You can't see them, but they're really there. You know, maybe someday you'll see them, or something like that. But the wisdom of Elisha prayed to God that his eyes be open. So in these cases of a loved one who might not be getting something you feel they should get, perhaps the wise thing, rather than try to speak and convince or argue, is to pray to God and know that God will open their eyes, that God is their mind, that they have the mind of Christ, and they will see what they need to see. Not to be so humanly responsible for the situation, but instead get on your knees in prayer to God. I have found this to work in my own experience. It might not work immediately, but it does work. God does open the eyes, and people do see what they need to see. And it is always God in control, not us humanly, but God's will be done. I am so grateful for these lessons. I'm grateful for our Bible studies, where we learn so much about each story and how it relates to our own life right here and right now. I'm grateful to be here tonight, and thank you all.